Good morning again. Welcome to the fourth hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. And I'm just going to give you a heads up. I'm not feeling all that great this morning. I've not been feeling well all morning. Um, a little bit dizzy and um, I was feeling kind of the same way yesterday, and I was hoping a good night I would feel better after a good night's sleep, and I'm just not. So we wind up cutting it a little bit short today. I hope you'll understand about that. I'm gonna go home early today and just try to get a little more sleep and some rest and see if I can shake this off before tomorrow. So anyway, let's catch up with things that are new since you and I last spoke 30 minutes ago. Let's go to the Washington Examiner. Byron York. Biden's career ends tonight. It won't be voluntary. Byron York is a pretty good columnist. He's a regular on Fox News Channel. He's a regular writer at the Washington Examiner. So he says, let's pull this piece up here and I'll give you a few more details. And he's saying that the headline of the piece actually Democrats praise Biden as they push him out the door. Of course, we've got the Democratic National Convention that's getting underway tonight. And so this will come to an end tonight. Joe Biden's half century career in electoral politics comes to an end tonight in Chicago. It won't be voluntary. The 81-year-old president being muscled out of the race and literally out the door. And he said, all this will be done amid lavish tributes to Biden. That's a pretty great analysis, I think, and reason as to why I won't be watching. All of these tributes of Joe Biden as they're shoving him out the door. That is just absolutely incredible. And York goes on to say, but if he's so great, why did his party hustle him out the door? And then he says, it's important to say that it's very clear that the president is not mentally or physically up to serving a second term, so on. But so this appearance he does tonight, it'll be interesting to see what he manages to put together. Now, there is another piece. I want to come back to the Washington Examiner. Um, this is from Axios, though. It's a piece from Axios. Behind the curtain, Biden's bitter, sweet exit. Not bittersweet, bitter, sweet exit. Um, a former White House official under President Obama ran into Mike Barnicle, who Barnicle is a regular on Morning Joe. He's a close friend and defender of Biden. So this former White House official said, isn't it great that effing guy finally figured out he had to quit? And Barnicle said, what guy? The guy said, Joe Biden. And Barnicle, apparently, according to Axios, Barnicle said, you know something? F you. And F all your friends with their anonymous quotes in the paper. Put your name on it next time. A source familiar with Biden's reaction to the story told us he might still be laughing. So Biden's friends tell us as the president heads to the Democratic National Convention send-off in Chicago, he's somewhat relieved and pretty nostalgic, but also still stunned and pissed about the way he was pushed out of the race. That's what they're hearing. So tonight's primetime speech will be a passing of the torch. Look for the president to say he believes in democracy. Well, of course, because that's the new big line from the Democrats. They're believers in democracy. Um, he believes in America. Yeah, absolutely incredible. I want to go back to the Washington Examiner because they've got oh, um, and this is a big story this morning. Didn't spend an incredible amount of time on this morning, but this House report, the House Three Committee impeachment inquiry released their report this morning, finding that Joe Biden is engaged in impeachable conduct, including abuse of power when he was vice president, obstruction of justice as president, and this is all to cover his family's global influence peddling racket to defraud the United States. So you can find more on that at Newsmax, as well as Fox News had pieces on that this morning. Also new this morning, just seeing that Phil Donahue, the TV talk show legend Phil Donahue, has died at the age of 88. So his family, he passed away last night, and the family confirmed this morning to today. So he died at his home, surrounded by his loved ones. He and Marlo Thomas have been married for 44 years, and she, of course, was there. Also, his sister, his children, grandchildren, and his golden retriever, Charlie. Yeah, I would want to be surrounded by my dog too, my family and my dog. My dog means a lot to me. Um, I don't know. But uh, my current dog, I don't think he's going to outlast me, unfortunately. And then there's another story that's trending, and this is worth sharing. The Because I've watched it. There's a show on Amazon called Batman Cape Crusader. And I'm just a prolific Batman fan, so I had to watch it. And the artwork is very similar to Batman the Animated Series. And so visually it kind of caught my eye. And it's telling the beginning of Batman. It's his first steps, getting to know the commissioner, and the commissioner is often telling him, "Hey, you got to get it. If you're still here when the police arrive, I'm going to have to arrest you." So they've got that kind of relationship through the first season of Batman. I've watched the entire first season, 10 or 12 episodes, something like that. I watched them all. And they're doing some different things. Some things I liked, some things I've not liked. But I've come to expect that. So anyway, one of the things that they have done with Batman the Cape Crusader, and there's a story this morning at Breitbart. They gender swapped the Penguin. The Penguin is not Oswald Cobblepot. The Penguin is Eswalda Cobblepot. She's a female. And you might think, oh man, I bet you hated that. Actually, it didn't bother me. Didn't bother me. I thought, okay, it's a different take. I get a little bit tired of the swapping of male for female, and more on that in a moment. Forced me actually to cancel my subscription to Apple TV, but I'll tell you about that in a moment. So they gender swapped the Penguin in this new Batman Cape Crusader animated series. I was all right with that. I was okay with it because the Penguin, you wouldn't want to mess with her. It's a strong female character. And I thought, well, okay, we'll see where it goes. I was all right with it. So I don't know. They said one of the reasons they did it for a lack of good female villains. Batman's got a few female villains. But I was not bothered by this. I think one of the producers, they were talking about this show. They said, well, you've got Catwoman, you've got Poison Ivy, you've got Harley Quinn, but it would be really good to have more female villains. What's the push for that? I don't get it. There just seems to be this effort to just push male characters just absolutely off the map. And I guess that's where it bothers me a little bit. Is, again, I have no problem with on the surface with this character, but again, you've got other, and there are a number of other um, female villains that Batman has in his rogues gallery. And I could go on, but what's the need? I guess that's become a little bit much for me. And it's what led to my cancellation yesterday of Apple TV. I am a science fiction fan, as you know, and I really enjoyed a series that was written by Isaac Asimov, the Foundation series. And I read the initial trilogy. I've listened to the audiobooks repeatedly, read the books repeatedly, I've listened to them repeatedly, as well as, and it's led me then into some Isaac Asimov's other work, which I very much enjoyed. The iRobot series would be another great example. Um, the and it just goes on. So I started over the weekend. Katie was gone for the weekend, so I was home alone and I was doing some things and I thought, hey, this will be a great chance for me to really dive into this Foundation series. So I started watching the Foundation, and they have done what we have seen where they take these characters. Now, again, Asimov writing these stories, I he must have written the books, I think, back in the 50s. Initially, his initial take on this back in the 50s, because he was already well established by going into the 60s. So there were books of the time where there are male characters, predominantly male characters. And so with the Foundation series then, and I I should have gotten the cast because one of the reasons I got it is the actor who's playing Harry Seldon is incredibly good. I've seen him in a number of other things and I like him. He's a great actor. And there are a lot of great actors in this show, but again, the material, they're presenting the material that's been written by others. And the Foundation TV series, it's absolute crap. It was really bad. And I have watched so many bad things where afterwards I go, why did I watch that entire series? Now, sometimes you watch it because it's entertaining. It's so bad that it's entertaining and it's being presented seriously to you. And I watched that Foundation series and I'm watching one episode after another, excuse me, and it's not getting any better. I mean, it is not getting any better. And you have the character of Salvor Hardin, who's again a male in the books, and um, Salvor Hardin, who again, there's just bizarre things that are going on. Um, who is frightened and she's on this spaceship by herself. She realizes she's on it by herself and she's pounding on this glass window in tears, screaming, "Let me out, let me out." She didn't know she's the only one on the ship. There's nobody else on the ship. So she starts having a conversation with the computer. And I thought, that's not the character even if you were to accept that this character now they've written as a female character. Um, okay, let's say I accept that. But this character is it's a totally emotional reaction to a person that's supposed to be highly, highly intelligent. And I just thought, this is just junk. I mean, this is garbage. And the longer it went, I thought it bore absolutely no resemblance to the actual Foundation series of books. And then Asimov wound up writing several more books in the Foundation series. He wrote a couple of more. I think Asimov wrote 5 in total. So the initial trilogy, and then he wrote 2 more books beyond that. And they were great stuff. but they so disrespected his work and, um, just essential things of the Foundation trilogy and what they focused on, and those things were just absolutely gone. The Vault is an absolute nonsense. What they did with that, I'm like, this is not Harry Seldon appeared in a time vault. So he made predictions based on psychohistory. He was able to make predictions as to what was going to happen because of, you know, galactic trends. He was following these trends and he decides, he learns that all the evidence is here. The galactic empire is going to crumble. It's going to fall. And it will take a period of, you know, 10,000 years before they will be able to build a second galactic empire. So he appears in the vault at key times to after a crisis and says, "You've made it through that crisis." Boom. There's none of that in there. Just absolutely none of what Isaac Asimov wrote. And I just thought, I am just so sick to death of all Hollywood, whether it's Apple TV or whether it's Amazon or whoever makes all of this crap, just absolutely disrespecting the works of the artists or the author that came previously. It's just yesterday and I canceled my Apple subscription. I went, that's it. And I purchased it in part to see this Foundation series, which was a complete disappointment. So then I got online. I thought, okay, what are other Isaac Asimov fans saying about the Foundation series on Apple? And they were trashing it. And I thought, all the same things I was thinking, they were saying online. And I saw it in comment after comment after comment and I went, okay, well, I feel better because people who have actually read the work of Isaac Asimov are taking this as an absolute insult to his work and the intelligence of his work. There were things that were coming in his books that I never saw coming. Just incredibly well done. I really, really love that the initial trilogy, especially. I have listened to the audiobooks, and then now I tend to listen more than I read. Um, I listen to the audiobooks repeatedly because I enjoy them so much. So I know the work pretty well. And what they did with Foundation was just absolute trash. So then I wanted to, okay, I'll watch the Monarch series because, I'm a Godzilla fan, right? So the Monarch is the company with an American, retelling of Godzilla. It's the Monarch company. If you've seen the Godzilla films that have been out, you know of Monarch and so on. Again, really love the initial Godzilla um, film that they did. I thought it was great. I liked their take on just really, really well done. Maybe I'll like this Monarch show, right? Another no-go. I and they're trying to get into the characters, and it's like it's gotta be a combination of what's going on with these monsters, and there's gotta be some reason for a lot of this stuff, and I think that's especially what you saw in the first Godzilla movie, is you saw, um, Godzilla and what he was doing and these 2 other monsters and why they were pitted against each other and why that was all explained. I thought it made good sense. That Monarch show, well, and again, Kurt Russell was in it. I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. I love Kurt Russell. So I thought, oh, well, Monarch, Kurt Russell, can't go wrong. Yeah, it went wrong. Seriously went off the rails. Just didn't think it was any good. And so I felt a sense of, uh, I think that probably the closest analogy was flipping the bird to Apple TV yesterday as I canceled my subscription. I thought, Okay, you got a few months out of me, that's enjoy that because I will not be back. I will not be back. There are a few other things on there that I thought I might wanna try, but then again, I'm already paying for enough services that I don't unless you're really delivering something pretty outstanding to me, no thank you. I'm gonna pass. So I canceled my Apple subscription over the weekend. I felt pretty darn good, yesterday, I think. I felt pretty good about that yesterday. So I'm gonna leave it there for this morning. Little bit short, but I thank you always for joining me. I hope you'll hit the like button. Thanks so much to those of you who've subscribed. If you got like-minded friends, let them know about what we're doing, and I'll see you again tomorrow. So you take care, my friend. So long until next time, and may God bless.